Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to my channel. Really appreciate the feedback that you are sharing, and that is what keeps me going, coming up with new points of view that helps you drive your business more profitably. Today, in episode 35, I will touch upon the operating model, and I know there is multiple layers to that term operating model. And in this particular episode, we'll just scratch the surface and many of you have asked me to do deep operating model design videos, which I plan to do uh, end of March. Is that's what my plan is. But what do we talk about today? Most leaderships term teams underestimate operating models. They treat them like org charts or reporting structures. Important, but secondary. In reality, operating models quietly decide whether value gets created or destroyed. I've seen strong strategies fail not because the thinking was wrong, but because the operating model made good decisions hard and bad behaviors easy. This episode is about the operating model choices that actually drive value. Speed, clarity, and accountability matter more than elegance. And that's what you're going to talk about today. Here's the core idea to keep in mind: strategy sets intent, but operating models shape behavior. People don't behave according to strategy decks. Let us be very clear. They behave according to the decision rights, escalation paths, and the incentives. That's why operating model matters so much. In today's market, with tighter capital, uncertain political scenarios, and very cautious buyers, execution quality is under microscope. Operating model weaknesses that were tolerated earlier now show up directly in valuation conversations. This brings me to the core thought. A lot of people think operating models are administrative choices with limited strategic impact. That's why I say it's a damaging myth that operating models are neutral or administrative. They are definitely not. Every design choice pushes behavior in a particular direction. If accountability is shared, people avoid decisions. If authority is unclear, escalation increases and persists. If the center over controls, speed dies. Operating models are not passive, they actively shape outcomes, whether leaders realize it or not. What are the choices that a person have? What are the choices that a leader have in putting things right from day one? I would say the first big design choice is where decisions sit. Now, I have put three blocks out there: centralized, decentralized, ambiguous decisions. All of them lead to a lot of operating model decision choices. Centralized decision making brings consistency, decentralized decision making brings speed. Both can work. What never works is ambiguity. So let's focus only on the left hand side blocks and not the one on the right hand side. And I've seen organizations lose months simply because no one was sure who has the authority to decide. In P-backed firms or large organizations undergoing transformation, that indecision compounds quickly, especially when markets move faster than governance. Choice number two, the second critical choice is who owns outcomes. And I call this a accountability problem. Shared ownerships feels collaborative, but it's the biggest execution killer I see. When outcomes are owned by groups, accountability simply evaporates. Single point ownership is uncomfortable, but is essential. Someone has to wake up every day knowing they own the results, not just the update. Buyers look for the clarity very quickly during diligence. And as we move to choice number three, role of the center. The corporate center often oscillates between control and passivity. The most effective centers enable value creation without becoming bottlenecks. And I'm talking of global capability centers. By now, you would have understood the drift. So, the role is another underestimated lever. Let us keep in mind that some centers slow down everything, some try to over control the ways and the means of doing things, and others simply step back from the arena so far that the fragmentation sets in. The most effective centers enable value creation. They set guardrails, support capability, and intervene only where enterprise value is at stake. In PE backed or otherwise, a poorly designed center can quickly cap returns. Let's keep that in mind. So that's where the previous slide I was saying centralized or decentralized, both are good. Let's plan to approach what we want, this is our strategic priorities, and then decide. This becomes even more important when GCCs are involved. GCCs amplify operating model choices. If the upstream design is weak, GCCs scale inefficiency. If the design is clear, they become powerful capability engines. In India-based GCC models, I've seen tremendous execution capability wasted because authority and ownership were unclear. And that's a reality, guys. Uh, Wonderful teams, but we really don't have an effective operating model. The effort and the energy simply gets wasted. So that's where I say your positioning and what you want to do has to be aligned, and the leadership has to be strong enough to push forward that viewpoint of the right operating model has to be leveraged. Bad operating models don't fail loudly, they fail quietly, and that's the tragedy. Escalation increases, meetings multiply, decisions get politicized. Leaders compensate with more oversight instead of better design. Haven't we seen this? Our engagement goes into trouble. We don't know what to do. Operating model is not working. So there's more and more leaders who simply drive down, join the fun at the arena, spend long hours, teams get stretched, but we are not fixing the operating model because that's painful. That's going back to the drawing board, uh, unraveling the mysteries of why what happened wrong, and then trying and fix it. But if you do that once, one painful exercise, uh, I think that's going to be helping you in the long run. Over time, this friction becomes normalized and the value leaks steadily. But what do good models enable? What we have covered till now is where we go wrong, what are the reasons of things going wrong, and where leaders can be a little more thoughtful in putting things right on the first day itself. What good models enable, and I have thought through of three major attributes. What makes them unique? What makes them different? They feel very different. The good operating models. Decisions move faster. Accountability is visible. Trade-offs are explicit. Execution becomes predictable rather than heroic. In today's business environment, this clarity is not a nice to have, it's a valuation driver. And a lot of organizations who are really not bothered on what can happen to their valuations or their profitability needs to rethink this hand in and handoffs create a lot of confusion on the operation flow. People really don't know what's to be done by whom and where. There is tremendous value leakage that is happening. ultimately impacting the money that you make at the business. The way I see this, structure determines the outcome. You don't get the outcomes you want, you get the outcomes your operating model allows. Value creation accelerates when leaders stop treating operating model design as plumbing and start treating that as a strategy. That's all I had for today. Thanks for being a part of this journey, and we meet again. Speak soon. Take care. Bye. Bye for now.